are the farmers in Kantale protesting? Why did the students of the Sabaragamu University obstruct the Colombo-Badulla main road? Is there a separate law for the chairman of the Ambilipitiya Pradesh Sabha who allegedly assaulted a police officer?
මට දෙයක් කරන්න ඕන නම් මට අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉන්නවා මේ ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්තුමා ඉන්නවා මට ඉතින් කතා කරලා ඉතින් මට ඕන දෙයක් කරගන්න පුළුවන්.
Suspicion surrounds the death of a man in Kottava following a brawl. Watch News First prime time tonight.
Well, with the controversies surrounding the Indian Premier League aggravating, the chairman of the IPL, Rajiv Shukla, vacates his seat. Tonight on Sports First, we delve deep into this controversy. Good evening, welcome. I'm Sonali Wanika-Babige on Primetime Weekend News. We start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Police used force to disperse a group of undergraduates of the Sabaragamu University. 20 students hospitalized. The police also suffer injuries. Mahavali officer in Kantale taken hostage by area residents against the arbitrary distribution of lands. The police intervened to bring the situation under control. The Mahasangha stresses on the need for the opposition leader to instill democracy in the party before attempting to propose a new constitution to the country. IPL chairman, BCCI secretary and treasurer stepped down due to controversies in Indian cricket.
The police used tear gas to disperse a group of undergraduates who were engaged in a protest near the Sabaragamu University this afternoon. 20 students were admitted to the Balangoda hospital with injuries, while 6 undergraduates were arrested.
The protest was launched against the University Governing Council's decision to suspend a group of undergraduates attached to the Sabaragamu University. The protesters engaged in the demonstration in the Pambahina junction, disrupting traffic along the Badulla-Colombo main road. A heavy traffic congestion was reported as a result of the demonstration. According to our reporter, the police had issued a warning to the protesting undergraduates to disperse. However, as the undergraduates did not heed the orders of the police, a tear gas attack was launched to disperse the protesters. The police said that 12 of its personnel were injured as a result of the demonstration. The police media unit said that among the injured were the SSP of Ratnapura and the Balangoda ASP. On the 28th of this month, 4 students engaged in a fast against the suspension of 2 students for a period of 8 months and the temporary suspension of the studentship of an undergraduate. Due to the condition of the 4 students who were engaged in the fast aggravated, the students were rushed to the Balangoda base hospital. The protest was launched along the Badulla-Colombo road subsequent to this development this morning.
The Suryapura village in Kantale was battered by the scourge of terrorism for nearly 3 decades. Area residents have been taking refuge in this village for many years, enduring hardships and yet surviving amidst many difficulties. Now, yesterday, a group of area residents from Suryapura rose up against the arbitrary manner in which lands were being distributed by the area Mahavali officer.
These are footage captured opposite the Suryapura Mahavali office last night. The area residents claim that the Mahavali authority, which did not assist their farming activities during the conflict, is now trying to take over their farmland, which have been cultivated through sweat and tears. The area residents who surrounded the Mahavali office in Suryapura took hostage the individuals who were inside the building at the time of the protest. These lands have been distributed among various businessmen, and not even 1% of the 108 farmers who have gathered here have received lands. The officers who came here recently have given away some lands. However, the earlier officials did not do so. They are attempting to drag these people onto the streets.
They refused to give lands to members of the army personnel, government officials and civil defense force personnel in the area. However, lands have been distributed among army personnel, government officials and civil defense force personnel from other areas for 5,000 rupees. Lands have been distributed to people from Kalutara, Mathura and Ratnapura. We lived in these lands even during the conflict. We studied under the trees. No one came to this area except the people from the army camp close by.
Members of the police and special task force personnel were dispatched to the location to bring the situation under control. There is only one solution: bring the officials concerned and provide an answer to this issue by tomorrow morning, or we will remain here and will not allow the DRG officer to step out until the officers concerned arrives at this location. The attempts made by the police to defuse the situation proved futile. Despite efforts made by the HQI of Kantale to explain the situation to the project manager of the Mahavali Authority, Chandrasena Viratna, the area residents continued with their demonstration. The ASP of Kantale, who arrived at the scene at around 8 last night, called on all parties together at the police station today to resolve the issue and escorted the Mahavali officers out of the office. The area residents arrived at the police station this morning anticipating a solution to their problems. Discussions were held between both parties at the police station. Thereafter, the chief incumbent of the Suryapura Vihara shared the following thoughts with News First. The officials of the Mahavali spoke to us and a conclusion was reached. They said that they will provide a permanent solution to this issue by the 10th of this month. We inquired about the matter from the Deputy Resident Project Manager in Madiragiri, and he noted that 300 acres of land had already been distributed among individuals, while 700 acres of marshy lands have also been distributed. Each individual received half an acre of good land and 1.5 acre of marshy land. He also said that 8 private companies were handed over 50-acre plot of lands. These areas have been originally identified as lands belonging to the Mahavali Authority. However, this was merely limited to its name, as the authorities provided no assistance for farming during the time of war. With the end of the war in 2009, after nearly 3 decades, officials of the Mahavali Authority arrived in the Suryapura area and established an office. Thereafter, officials began to distribute lands, and area residents claimed that they were unjustly treated during the process. The officials of the Suryapura Mahavali Authority office notes that lands were not distributed as the 2010 selection document was not approved.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid homage to the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic today.
The chief prelate of the Asgiri chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddha Rakita Thera, initiated religious observances and invoked blessings on the president. The chief incumbent of the Asgiri chapter, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddha Rakita Thera, brought to the attention of the president the substandard Attapirikara that was offered to the temple. Thereafter, the president instructed officers to inform the Consumer Affairs Authority to take immediate steps to ensure that all offerings, including Attapirikara, are of the required standard. Later, the president went to inspect a suitable location for the construction of the proposed airline runway. The president took into consideration the surrounding farmland in the Tannikumbura area along the Randinigala road in Kandy, which lies in close proximity to construction site for the proposed airline runway. He instructed the Minister of Livestock Development and Air Force to inspect the matter and to present a report in this regard.
Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, who arrived in the island for a 2-day official visit, left the island today.
Our airport correspondent said that Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra left the island at 1:40 p.m. after completing her state visit. Before departing the island, the Thai Premier met with the Chief Prelate of the Malota chapter, Most Venerable Tippatuave Sri Sumangala Thero, this morning. Thereafter, Prime Minister Shinawatra met with the Chief Prelate of the Asgiri chapter, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddha Rakita Thero, and obtained his blessings. The Thai Prime Minister also paid a visit to the historical Thai Dipaduttaram Rajamahavihara. The Thai Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra attended a special dinner at the President's house in Kandy yesterday.
Even though death is common to all, the cause of death of late Madhushankar Lakmal always has sparked controversy and suspicion among his family members and relatives.
On the 28th of last month, Madhushankar visited a canteen at the Court Tower Commercial Complex accompanied with a friend with the intention of consuming a packet of milk. Subsequent to quenching their thirst, the duo had made a payment of 1,000 rupees for their purchase.
Madhushankar had 400 rupees, so he gave 1,000 rupees instead to the owner of the shop. The owner of the shop had in turn gave a balance of 900 rupees, out of which 500 fell in the area where the shopkeeper was seated. When Madhushankar asked where the rest of the 500 rupees was, the shopkeeper asked him if he was mad and under the influence of drugs. Madhushankar pushed the shopkeeper subsequently. At the time of this incident, a police official was seated inside the shop. I do not remember his name, but if I see him, I will recognize him. He assaulted Madhushankar. I do not know exactly who he was because he was in civilian clothing, but he kicked me and I was hit on the head by a pole. The three individuals were hitting Madhushankar on his face. They dragged Madhushankar from the shop to the police and kicked him and put him in the cell. I received an injury onto my head while Madhushankar sustained injuries on the face. My mother, who was at the police station, insisted that we should be taken to hospital. The police refused and we had to be bailed out. Madhushankar fell on the floor when he was taken out of the cell.
Following the argument that broke out between the shopkeeper and Madhushankar, the Kottawa police apprehended Madhushankar and his friend. The police media unit said that the duo was released on bail on the same day. However, on the 31st of last month, Madhushankar's health began deteriorating. He died at the Homagama hospital. He was taking medicine. However, I felt that he was in a critical condition. Last morning at around 4:45, he started vomiting a little blood and started bleeding from the nose. We took him to the Homagam hospital and a few minutes later he passed away at the hospital. The Homagam magistrate conducted magisterial inquiries into the death. The body was then sent to the Colombo Judicial Medical Officer for the post-mortem examination. It was because the police assaulted him that this happened to him. Otherwise, he did not have any illness to be taking medicines. The police media unit refuted the allegations that were levelled by family members of Madhushankar, who stated that the deceased was assaulted in police custody.
Allegations levelled that the chairman of the Ambilipitiya Pradesh Sabha had attacked two police officers attached to the Panamure police. Investigations have been launched to arrest him. I am not involved in any such incident. I have no need to do such a thing. If I want something done, I only need to call the president or the defense secretary. There is no need for me to use force. Special police team dispatched to apprehend the suspect. The chairman has fled the area. We will not hesitate to arrest the chairman of the Ambilipitiya Pradesh Sabha and produce him before court. A special operation was launched last night to locate MK Amila. Afternoon primetime news on Sirius FM, MK Amila will be arrested today. Chairman of the Ambilipitiya Pradesh Sabha, MK Amila, who allegedly assaulted two police officers, has been at large for 4 days. Is there a different law for the chairman of the Ambilipitiya Pradesh Sabha?